Hi, so I've decided to continue my investigation about data, access to my data, who's got access to my data. And I'd like to specifically outline about three areas. So I'm looking at targeting a data subject based upon their medical preference. I think that this is more about discrimination on data subjects or groups. You can see how the data is divided into ethnicity, gender type, personal preferences. I'm feeling that people are knocking on my door asking for ID is harassment based upon my medical preference. I think we have a right to governance and protection as data subjects. So who has access to our data now, and has the government already given it away? My question is, if they have, under whose authority? And I think we've got to stop exploitation of our individual data identity. Have set up a petition to set up governance to protect the right, or our right to individual freedom and privacy. And there's already a body that's set up, but I don't feel like a body. I feel that it should be within our control, and the technology is available for us to have control, put a perimeter fence around our data and give people access. Open data is great, but in the right hands, knowing with transparency where it's going, who's got access to it, how it's been used, how it's valued, what revenue is created from it, and obviously then we want to be remunerated for our digital identity, the value of our data usage, our data footprint. So I have proof of who's in the mix to have access to our data, and I've already gone through that. I've researched the legality of this, and I'm questioning breaches of data protection based upon emergency powers and legislation. My initial contact was with the WML, the West Midlands Combined Authority. It seems that they've decided that they are an authority, and there is that they want to move power to our central West Midlands hub of bodies, which are responsible for all the authorities within that umbrella. Now, the fact that it's devolvement of power, that's exactly what it really is. It's not like, look, it's top down. If you're looking at a transfer of power, then the power is actually with the people. We have the power at this moment in time. They want our digital identity. They do not care about what we are doing physically. They don't care about how the vaccines are going down, if there's any after effects. They don't care about how your businesses are doing. They don't care about, or they hope, and they're empowering bigger corporations to make mandatory, to give them powers to enforce people to move, to carry out things that they just don't want to do. Otherwise, they face the sack. And there are brave people that stand up, but the thing is, it's like wherever we go one, we go all. If someone is going to stand up for themselves, how can everybody else just look on and go, oh well, she's lost her job? There's no war cry, and it seems that the fact is, when everyone's talking about COVID-19 or recessions, or they're talking about shootings in America, or all of these things that are there just to distract us, whilst this is going on, there is an absolute concerted effort to utilize, capture, harvest more information about us and then sell it on. So I rang WMC outlining the situation. They mentioned they got a relationship with Mighty. They do cleaning.
The representative came round and they said they were from Mighty.
From Mighty.
Which is what isn't one of your sorry?
Mighty is sort of an outsourcing company, so it provides a lot of services to a lot of different companies.
And so, but what from within the whole authority, or just some of them?
Well, they provide services, cleaning services to both Birmingham City Council, local councils. Mighty are hired to do cleaning provide cleaning facilities for our bus stations and stuff.
She probably thought it was not within her power, so she decided to send me through to the COVID department, and that's held at Birmingham Council.
Bear with me. Let me see if I can grab a number for you before I pop through to somebody.
Thank you.
Bear with just a moment, please. Council, Stephen speaking. How can I help?
I sort of asked him what the summary of my isolation and how that was affecting me physically and mentally, and I asked him for exemption.
So I'm just checking this because I haven't actually had this before. Just one moment.
Okay.
His response was to ask me about my medical preference.
Have you been put up?
Sorry?
Have you been vaccinated before?
Do you say double jabbed? What does that mean?
Have you had to COVID vaccine?
2 COVID vaccines.
With any?
Sorry?
Have you been vaccinated for COVID before?
So, I mean, just to confirm, you know, when people label, this is all about labels and giving people specific criteria that they fit into to really better outline who you are as a person before even looking at what your activities are, what your buying preferences are. But if you look at name, address and email address, at the moment, when you sort of join Amazon, at the moment they are sending lots of brilliant logistics service, but they're sending a load of crap through these portals where, based upon searches, based upon your preference, putting things that you've searched for before in your shop window, and that's their output. And they've got, at the moment, they've got like your name and your email address and payment details, delivery address, different delivery addresses that you use. But now with the harvesting of our medical data, the COVID-19 data that has been shared with them, not only do they have everything in terms of product for a consumer market to send us, but now they can look from the other side and go, okay, that this guy or this lady or this non-binary, gender neutral, whatever that is, you know, whatever it is, this human being has got this profile, name, address, gender, ethnicity, they buy these sort of things, they go to these locations, all of this information that is being shared based upon COVID-19. Now, if you can mesh that together, you have got such valuable information on your data subjects, the people that you want to entice to buy you. So Amazon have got such a massive value out of this. I don't know what deal that they've done, but I did speak with Sean Collins about this. I think that Amazon could look at Jim Roper and say, right, okay, we've made this from his purchases and we have made this from all of his activities through our partners. Do you think they would have a figure?
Almost certainly. In fact, if they didn't, it would be more surprising if they didn't than if they did.
Do you think 50-50 is a good sort of negotiation with them?
I think you could try. It comes back to scale, Jim. It comes back to scale. If you said it, probably they'd have to listen because it's you, obviously, Jim. But if the whole of Solihull did it, you'd probably get a reaction then.
Now, you know, this isn't about someone being, I've mentioned about different labels and things. It's not, you know, don't label me as a anti-vaxxer. What on earth is that? What does that mean? I mean, I'm anti-hard selling. And when someone, especially my government, is telling me to do something and then almost enforcing it based upon data science, which is not science, it's basically someone's interpretation of a lot of different figures, and John Hopkins is just a predictive agency, and that is what we're basing all of this on. So as he asked me, am I double jabbed? My personal preference is that no, at the moment, yeah, I'm not anti-vax, I'm just anti-hard sell, I'm always cynical. I mean, wouldn't it be an amazing thing for me as a communications provider to my business to business? I do deal with businesses to make it, oh, are you anti-broadband? Are you anti-broadband? Are you anti-mobile phone SIM cards? Well, we're going to enforce you to buy them. So, you know, gosh, wow, what a powerful way to run your business. However, the thing is with mine, it's service, it's value, and it's transparency. And at the moment, we've been missold. What the important thing is with providing unified communications is to give people a central hub where your information is, and to create routes and rules to ensure that the inbound information from clients, from your partners, customers is coming through and is being handled in the manner that they need to be handled. So it's really empowering the end user to have control. It's empowering the end user to have control. It's empowering the end user to have control and to have the freedom to switch off the routing. But the key is with any solution is to make sure that when this happens, what happens? So for example, the most important customer rings a guy when he's switching off, he's at home with his family, he doesn't need to feel guilty for not responding, but that is going through to somebody in the hierarchy that is there to answer to answer that call and to satisfy the demand. You know, it's not just about giving people access to your workforce 24/7. It's about giving people a service that's in line with what you offer, and leaving your employees to do the time, to do the time, or to put in the time to make them efficient, but also to ensure that they're enjoying a life balance. Because what COVID has really taught everyone is that time is sometimes taken for granted, and the time, the air that we breathe, the moments that we share with our family are the most important things for some. I mean, I really do appreciate every day what I have got. Sometimes I don't, I take it for granted. But when I look at the situation, I'm so lucky, I'm so fortunate to have a garden, a healthy family, support, a business that's going in the right direction. Sports is starting to come back on. You know, I am very, very fortunate. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Some of you have heard that the new name for Facebook is Meta, and Meta, you know, it's quite a strong name. The reason is Meta is a name given to pieces of data. Now, packets of data. Data is just, if you think that information is just everywhere, information is everywhere. But if you look at data, this is a straight line to the person that wants it or is going to get it. And it's a straight line with a visual to access exactly what it is. So for example, a piece of metadata is your gender. Okay, a piece of metadata is your location. Metadata is about me, for example, and the metadata is small elements of it. So as I work in voice communication, so whilst we provide unified comms platforms, so people have one screen so they can see their inbound WhatsApp messages, their email addresses, but their voice calls come into that platform and they can pick it up on their phone or on, you know, through the speaker of the phone, but it's all on the network within their organization. Obviously not explain that very well, but I'll try a bit better. But what we are doing for some clients at the moment is, whilst calls are recorded for training purposes, it's really useful to understand the information about how many calls have been made, what the average wait time is, have they missed any calls, so they can ensure that they're looking at routing and making sure that they're not missing any calls to start, and ensuring that the groups that are set up are answering, and also that the groups that are set up are being proactive, they're making their outbound targets, they're hitting their quantities, if you like. Voice communication is the last line, and voice communication with letters is really, really valuable, because it's something that it's not digitalized until we are converting the voice recordings into data now. So the metadata that we create will allow us to provide key phrases, what's been used, how many complaints have they had, you know, what people are looking for, and if they are moving offices, it could be useful for them in their sort of sales environment to say, okay, whilst you're buying these products from us, as you're moving offices, we can help you this way. There's lots of different ways that voice information was converted into metadata and then produced in analytic format is very, very valuable. And this is what we've got to be aware of, that when we're giving our information to these these companies that are working for the NHS, saving the NHS. Well, what they're doing is harvesting everybody's information and then sharing it. Our government, our Home Office at least, seems to be sharing it with every single organisation, every single operation. Now, what we can do and what is available to businesses, we should be providing to individuals. So as a proposition for the West Midlands, Andy Street come in, for £1 billion a year, I could ensure that every single person in the Midlands, 10 million, for example, people have security around the parameter of their digital identity, and that is the start. However, that £1 billion would be paid for by companies that had to have access to it. So I would guarantee that if this was, for this to go ahead, Google, Amazon will contribute to the cost of our privacy and also contribute to access elements of our metadata. This is the only way we need to be protecting our communities, is by protecting our information, because as soon as we allow everybody to have free access and open access to us as data subjects, then it's over for us. If you look at this, once you give us this, once you do this, we can give you this element of freedom. Once you do this, you're a double vaccinated person, you are allowed to do this, but now you need a boost to allow you to do this. And it's encouraging people now to sort of go, oh, grass on your neighbours, tell you, but if there's any businesses that are really working hard to support their family, but maybe cutting a corner in front of you, grass on them, and then if you grass on them, we'll give you a little bit more, So we are not electing them to be the powers of our digital information. We the people have access, and we the people are creating these information. If they are so valuable, then they've got to pay for it for us. And we don't need the government to negotiate this. The last thing we want to do is to allow the government to be it's the last thing we want to be doing, is allowing the government to negotiate with these businesses, their sort of networks, their friends. And you just have to look at the contracts that's been given out over the last couple of years. This influx of printed money just given out. £90 million to Mighty now, £90 million to check if I'm conforming to a quarantine, an isolation. Just look, isolation because I went away, and I've got someone that's been paid by £90 million just given to them. And by the way, if you look at Mighty as well, their company, their biggest competitor, they were able to buy them out. They were struggling apparently. So this 90 million quid, did it really go to people on the ground? But yeah, some of it did. Some of it's gone to pay some of the cleaners from Mighty to go out and put a high vis on and just check out and get a bit more information from us. Go out and get some information off people. That's their target, based upon our medical preferences or our fact that they've been away. Unbelievable. That 90 million quid for a start. We don't elect you to be paying, passing money around like that, not within our communities. We need to be in control of this. So all of our money and our investment in our areas is for us, not to check on us, not to police us, not to enforce power as you look at it.